Bryant gang. So we only have 2 of us here today, but there are about 12 more of us because we're really big and chaotic. And that's why we started this channel, so you can see how interesting we are.
So start by introducing ourselves. I'm Michaela Allen.
And I'm Zylan Bryant.
And welcome.
Today we're talking about transgender people because we sit on 2 opposite sides of the fence for that.
I'm kind of in the middle.
So, first we're going to get her opinion because she has a sister brother that's transgender.
Okay, so I have a lot of opinions on it. I'm going to narrow it down and kind of explain my opinions in a way. So, my opinion is, it's not my life, it's not my thing. You do what you want, and I'm not a part of it. That's your decisions, not mine. And, you can just make your own decisions. I don't want to be saying it because it's not my life. At all.
So how many opinions do you have? I'm going to share mine now. So mine is that it's kind of stupid. If you are dumb enough to think you are a different gender, then you probably have something wacko up here. Because you can't just change your body because something in your mind says, oh, hey, I'm a different gender now. So I don't agree with it. I think it's kind of stupid. And you said you had multiple, so what's your other opinion?
Well, that's going to lead, what I'm about to talk about is going to lead into my opinion, but both my families, one side of my family, I grew up around family, is Christian and will refuse to call them by the name they want. No, actually. My aunt and uncle and my all my family over there on my mom's side are highly Christian about it and just don't respect the wishes that they want, I guess. And my mom gets really pressed about it. And from a young age, I guess, I was kind of introduced to it and I was like, but that's not what I've been calling them since I was able to talk. And it's probably not the best decision in the world, but once again, just leave me out of it. If you're part of my family, then I'm not gonna voice my publicly tell you my opinion, but it's just and really just
Okay, so now that we've discussed our opinions, we're going to talk about her sibling without obviously not getting into who it is. And then we're going to ask each other some questions so you guys really understand our points on it. I'm going to let her start off because I don't really know him.
Okay, so from the youngest I can remember, I had a sister, and when we moved to the third or fourth town that I lived in, they publicly, to my family was hey, I want to be a boy. I've always felt the need to be a boy because, as a kid, I just liked everything else. I was a boy and everything, and I want to be a boy. I feel like I was born in the wrong body. And my mom was questioning, first, oh, maybe it's just a phase they're going to go through and everything. And then later on, they voiced that they're also gay. So it was it was a back and forth thing for a few years. And I was introduced to it. I was okay, Michaela, you need to call so-and-so by this name now and this gender now. And every time I would say, I would mix up and be oh, hey, sis. They would get, really bad yell at me about it in the car. Mind you, my mom would have to explain, hey, they're not used to it. She's not used to it. You have to give her time, I guess. And, they transitioned about, 20, so I was 6, so about 2016 is when that happened. So ever since then, so about 10 years. Yeah.
So I don't personally believe that they should not be respected, but they definitely, I'm not going to call your sister a boy. Now we probably should move on to questions, and I am gonna start by asking you, Michaela. Um, would you, if your mom did not make you call your sister your brother, do you think it's okay to call them what they want to be called because they think that they're a different gender?
Personally, no, because if like a child's introduced to something at a young age, like, hey, this is so and so, they're your sister, and you can look up to them as a role model. And the child gets used to that for so many years, and then automatically he's like, oh no, that's not right anymore. I don't think it's like the best thing in the world. Like, cool, be called a nickname. Like, they have a nickname that relates back to their original name too. Be like, okay, call them a nickname. That, like, it works better than completely switching your name.
Okay, I understand that. And then I have two more questions that I wrote, or three more questions that I have wrote down, just because I wanted to ask this beforehand. And then I will let you ask me questions. So, number one, do you think it has anything, well, I guess it's number two, do you think it has anything to do with a lack of a father figure?
No, because they have a very very good father figure, actually, that has been there for them through thick and thin, and I even look up to them, and I've always called them my uncle because it's just always been that way. They've always had a really good father figure their whole life, and never had to worry about not having a dad that won't be there and they can't call them and having them yell and scream at them over everything.
Okay, this is not kind of another one of my questions, but your sister's dad doesn't live with you guys, so that's still an absence of a father figure somewhat.
In a way, yes, but before we moved like 3 hours away from them, they were over at their father's house all the time. Like, I would see them at dinner and before bed and everything during family time. But directly after they got out of school, they would go straight to their dad's house and be there most weekends because my mom had them during the week for school. So every weekend they would be over at their dad's house because it would be 3-4 blocks away, and it's a walking distance. And they were old enough to.
Okay, so does your sister have any mental illnesses or addictions you think could have led to this happening or could be affecting her mind?
Yes, the addictions happened way after the transformation. They started about when they were my age, so 15. And from as far as we know, they have ADHD, OCD, anxiety, depression, and um, autism too. I think of the word autism, and that's all being medically diagnosed through doctors. And their whole life they've been in and out of the hospital, like going to appointments and everything. Because they've always had various health issues when it comes to like stomach, their arm, like shoulder arm issue from when my mom was giving birth to them and everything. So yeah, I think that could have a toll on it because they wanted just like the like cool toys as a kid that kind of maybe led to what they thought, and the mental illnesses might have led to that too.
Okay, I guess that kind of answered my question. That was a lot of rambling. But my last question is kind of just another opinion question for you. Well, I guess they're all kind of opinion, but more opinion, personal. How do you feel about having to call her your brother?
I don't really like most of the time when I'm just talking to like new people, I have to introduce it that way. I think it's like I'm not a huge fan of it because I was so used to calling them my sister so much, and I've never really been the biggest fan of it. But over time, my brain kind of got used to it. I guess I'm not a huge fan of it at all, really, but I guess that's just how it goes. I call them by their nickname mainly. If I have to say name, then I'll say name, but I don't really call them brother as much. I mainly just say their nickname, which does tie into their birth name. So
Okay, that's all the questions that I thought of or wrote down. So now Kayla is gonna ask me questions about why I don't believe or whatever she thinks would be best to ask.
okay, what are your beliefs now that I've told you everything?
They kind of haven't changed. I mean, I wouldn't treat your sister any different because she does have mental illness, but I still don't think it's wrong. And that what you told me kind of ties back to what I thought, to where mental illness kind of is the cause of this, unless you just are an attention seeker. Which, since she kind of lost her father figure when you guys moved, that could also be her wanting to seek attention.
That's a good point. And to tie into the father figure really quick before I ask my other question, we also did have, my mom did also go to a abusive man for 8 years that I'm pretty sure tied into that too, because that's when they started coming out, was when my mom, within the first year of them transitioning, we were with the abusive figure and they started becoming more abusive. So I think that kind of ties into it too.
It definitely does.
Yeah. So, my second question. If one of your siblings were to do this, what would you do?
So I'll answer the question in a second, but I was going to say that's totally unrealistic because we all know better and none of us support that. But if they were, I would still call them their original gender. Like, say, you, counting you as one of my siblings, said, hey, I'm a boy now, I'm still going to call you Michaela. I don't really care. You are who you are born as and who you were before you became a boy.
I personally love being a girl.
Me too.
I don't really have a whole bunch of other questions, honestly. So that's about it.
So I guess we're ending it here. Thank you for listening or watching if you watched. This was our first time, so I hope that it was entertaining, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Bye.
That time was better. We didn't get asked for them, and you told us most of the questions.
You texted